Today we are interviewing Barbara. Barbara, and I'm not very good at your last name, so let me. What's your last name?
Twarowska.
So Barbara Twarowska.
Yes.
That's a beautiful name.
Thank you.
I'm just not good at it.
It takes time to pronounce it, but it's not
I'll keep working on it. How long have you been a residential real estate agent?
So going on 8 years now. I started in Chicago in 2009, and then in 2012 I moved to Las Vegas and started in the Las Vegas market. So.
Wow. Do you consider yourself more of a listing agent or a buyer's agent?
I do both, but I do prefer to work with buyers a little bit more. I started as a buyer's agent back in Chicago, and the way that I actually got into the business, I was looking for a property for me and my friends, and they weren't from Chicago, and I love being a tour guide for them and showing them all the little neighborhoods. So I do prefer working with buyers and just taking them through the process and helping them find a property that matches everything that they're looking for. At least 95% of it in today's market.
What is your certain strategy for working with a buyer?
Well, my strategy is, as far as doing a buyer consultation in the beginning, because you do have to find out what your clients are looking for. I think one of the number one complaints that I do get from buyers is that they do go through several agents, and these agents, they just spam them with all these listings. They never take the time to find out exactly what property the buyers are looking for. So if the buyer tells them that I need a large lot, I don't want an HOA, don't send them properties with HOAs. The MLS search is so specific that you can tell me that you want an RV boat parking, and I'll send you properties that only have RV boat parking. So I try to be very detailed because I don't want to waste their time. And then, people are spammed so much from every angle that the more precise you can be with your customer, the happier they'll be.
What is the Las Vegas market like right now? Is it real difficult?
It depends. So it depends on the price point. The inventory is actually some of the lowest inventories that we've had in years. The market is very, very quick. Anything under 300,000, and especially with a pool, multiple offers the same day. You're competing with 8, 10, dozen people on those properties. Getting a very strong offer right out of the gate is one of the most important things, because in today's market, you really just don't have. It's a seller's market. You really just don't have that room to shoot a few offers, because they're going to go with the strongest one.
So, in terms of strategy on your offer, how do you make that as strong as possible?
Well, I make the offers as clean as possible, and then one of the things that I do is I always call the listing agent before I submit an offer, which really shocks me how many agents just blindly submit an offer on behalf of their client without ever calling the listing agent. And realtors are very social, they're nice people generally, and they love to talk, and when you call them, they'll give you tidbits on, well, make your offer, this is what the seller is looking for. So if you prepare your offer a certain way to meet the seller's needs, they prefer to work with you. And when you're competing with 10 other offers, it's the tiny little things that make a difference.
Do you present the offers yourself?
So the way that real estate is done here in Las Vegas, we don't bring the offers physically to the seller. The sellers, they have their own agent that represents them. When I'm working with a buyer, I'm representing the buyer's best interest, and the listing agent then collects all the offers, and they sit down with the seller and they go over all the individual offers with the seller, and then they do counters back to us. So I think it's always important to really have a good relationship with the listing agent, because when there's 8 other offers and you're the one that made that contact, and you really want to work with them, and you really want to bring both of the parties together, they're going to remember things like that.
As a selling agent, what is your marketing plan for when you're doing a listing?
My marketing plan is, what I think most importantly is pricing the property right. And I think it's the most important thing, because you want to attract, if you price your property too high, buyers are going to be intimidated to view your property, because they just don't think that they're going to be able to meet you where the market's at. I think because I'm also an appraiser, that's one of the things that has helped me price people's properties accurately, because I'm thinking of the entire buyer pool. If you price it too high, you can only really target cash buyers, because no lender is going to finance, you being a lender, you're only going to lend the buyer X amount of dollars that the property's worth.
But you can't go higher than appraisal.
Exactly. So I think it's very important to price your property to meet the buyers. Like if it's an FHA, if it's in the realm of FHA under 287, price it. Price it for an FHA buyer. If you're in the conventional area, price it for the conventional buyer, because as you know, majority of people I think are actually using financing these days.
Yeah. Where do you advertise?
So right now, when I take a listing, there's 12,000 licensed agents in Las Vegas. So one of the first things that I do is I send a flyer through the system that we pay for to advertise the property to the other Las Vegas agents, because most of them are working, they have their buyers in mind. So when they get that email, they see, I get those emails all the time, and I'm like, oh wow, that's someone, I know someone that's looking for that. So I do that. I make sure that it's on every single website, like the consumer websites, like the Zillow and the Redfin, the Trulias. I make sure that there's professional photography. So those pictures, because everybody's searching for properties right now online. Everyone's on their cell phone with Zillow and they're looking, and you want to make sure that your property has the best possible image online. So I think professional photography is just one of the key things that every single property should have.
Oh yeah, for sure. And video too.
And video.
I would think so. I do like video actually.
Yeah.
I'm very video oriented, and I watch video.
And video is great, and I offer that too. And then one of the things that's kind of very new and up and coming is virtual reality. They're 3D tours.
Yeah.
So I've done that on my listings, which is really cool, because you do get a lot of investors, and you get a lot of people from other parts of the country that aren't physically here to view the property. So they can actually tour the property right from their iPad or home computer without actually having to get on a plane.
Yeah, that's cool. That is actually very cool. That is really cool. What are the top 3 things that separate you from your competition? What do you think? What would you say?
Well, I think separate me. Well, being an appraiser, I think that's I provide the consumers that I work with a lot more information than I think a general real estate agent does, because the appraisal side is so analytical, and the reports, they're so detailed. We do a market analysis of every sub-market, and when working with buyers, the Henderson market is different than, say, the Mountains Edge area. I'm a lot more detailed as far as what the inventory levels are in that sub-market, and I can provide that analytical data for them to make an informed decision, versus if there's an oversupply in a certain neighborhood, that gives my buyer an advantage, because I can show them that, listen, there's an 11-month supply of homes in this neighborhood. So just because there's a shortage all around Las Vegas, there isn't a shortage in this neighborhood, so you as the buyer have the advantage. So I think the appraisal side, I try to provide as much detailed statistical data information to the buyers, because that data, it really makes a difference. And then one of the other things is I try to always, I do have a good relationship with other agents in the business. I think you definitely always have to be polite and friendly, and what's that saying? You catch more bees with honey, right? So if you're nice to people, they'll be nice back to you, and you'd be surprised. There's a lot of, agents that try to negotiate from like a strong arm, and I think it turns off. I don't think people like to be, negotiated in like a strong arm way. They'd rather meet you in the middle and be happy, and and have both parties be happy.
So, and then a third?
A third. Well, I think my experience in the past, experience does matter. And there's nothing bad to say about new agents because I was a new agent at one point. And, but I do know that from my experience now, and especially in today's market, experience does matter. It's the little things that on a purchase agreement that could lose a deal. You know, if you could lose a deal over a $500-600 home warranty. And when you're presenting offers, you really want an agent that is experienced in writing clean offers. And in the past 3 years, I've closed almost $8 million worth of real estate. So that shows experience. And I've worked with buyers from helping them buy a $50,000-$60,000 condo to a $760,000 property, from renters. So I have experience across the board.
Wow, that's fantastic. Are you allowed as a buyer to review the documents before you're asked to sign them?
Oh, of course. I give my buyers, I email them all the documents or hand them to, I ask them which they prefer. Do you want them on paper, if you want them emailed? I always let them review it prior because they should know what they're signing. And especially in the nick of time, they're rushing to sign everything. I want to give them the time to look everything over in advance.
That's great. How do you help your buyers find other professionals they need, like maybe a lender or an inspector?
It's through experience. It's I've met a couple great home inspectors that I've used, and I always give multiple referrals, so the consumer gets to choose. And I tell them, listen, it's your choice. Go on Yelp, go on Google, find someone with great reviews. Feel free to use them. These are people through my 5 years that I've worked with, and these are the lenders that I know that have closed your deal, that have closed loans. These are the home inspectors that I know that are licensed, that do a great job. They have 10, 15 years. So I always provide them with a list of professionals.
We got a visitor.
Hi, Caesar.
We got a little visitor.
Oh, now you come out. Oh, you're so cute and so fluffy. Oh.
Okay, so as a real estate agent, how much do you charge?
So as far as working with buyers, there is no cost to working with a real estate agent when you're representing a buyer, which I think is great for buyers because you get all that information for free. There's only so much information that you can find online as far as like the Z estimates, and that's by working with a buyer's agent, you're getting a wealth of information that agent's going to help you make a strong offer and save you money. On those residential purchase agreements, there's a lot of little boxes that, for example, if you're buying in an HOA, if you don't have proper representation or you only go to the listing agent, they can make it where you're paying certain costs that a buyer shouldn't be paying. So since it's free, I think every buyer should be working with an agent. As far as for listings, obviously the sellers, they pay for the property to be listed, and that's negotiable. A seller can expect to pay anywhere for paying, because there's the seller's agent and the buyer's agent, they can pay anywhere between 3 to 6%. But it's obviously negotiable. One of the things, if there is a better, higher budget for the real estate agent representing them, they can obviously spend more money on marketing their property. So they could put their property, we could do the 3D virtual tours, put it in a magazine, newspaper, pay for online advertising. With a limited budget, sometimes the property may not get the best exposure.
Mm. When you're doing a listing like that, and do you pay for the photography and the videos and the 3D?
I do.
Or yeah?
Yeah, I pay for all of that up front for the property. So, I definitely want to do the best job and price it right so it sells because, it's an investment on behalf of us agents in the client's property.
And then you have a listing agreement with the client.
Yes.
What's the typical length of time for a listing agreement?
In today's market, because properties do sell really quickly, I would say 90 days. Generally, we would like 6 months just because we do invest a lot of time and money between the photography, the signs, and so 6 months, but the market's quick. If it's priced right, it should really sell in under 30 days.
Now, I love that show, $1 Million Listing. I watch every season, every one. And so, those houses, what?
With Josh Altman.
Yeah, oh yeah, love Josh.
I actually got to meet him.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
They are pricing houses that are, a little pricey. And they always have these big brokers opens with food and all that kind of thing. Do you do that type of thing too, or is that more for the upscale clientele?
The properties that I currently work with, I do work with like the median home buyer. We do open houses, so we don't do these fancy ones. But yeah, for the $1 million listings, there's a lot of agents that they do that, and they do hold the big parties, and I think it's great because a lot of agents, like I personally go to them, and I think it's great to show the property to other agents that way. They do work, and they sell. It's real estate is a lot about networking. So when you can showcase the property to other buyers, agents that have other buyers that they're working in mind with, it's a great way to market the property that way.
That's cool. Now I want to do that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then that Josh Altman guy, he's funny. We went to a seminar last year, and he's actually a very inspirational guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Cool. Do you offer any guarantees to your clients?
I personally don't, I'll be honest. I know that there's a lot of agents that market that if they don't sell your home in 30 days, they'll buy it for cash. I'll be honest, I'm not in that position to buy your home for cash. I would love to offer that guarantee. I think the best thing that I can offer to my clients is just honest professional service. And if they go with where the market's at and they price it right for their neighborhood, then we really shouldn't have a problem selling that property.
And thank you for watching.